So, Mike, we had Tyler Shough on last hour. Loved talking to him, man. Loved it. I mean, he told his whole story and the injury history. And I mentioned him. I'm like, you're 25. You got the injury history. What do you say to people? And his response was like, it makes me better. Makes me better. He goes, I've been benched. I've won. I've been carted off. I've come back. I've been with 5 offensive coordinators. He goes, that sounds like basically, I'm paraphrasing, a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL have dealt like this. So he called himself the most NFL ready quarterback of the entire class. Mike.
Yeah, and I love the way his postseason has gone. I love what you just said, because if I was that kid, I'd be saying the exact same thing to anybody that asked me, especially NFL teams. And I was down at the Senior Bowl and knew very little about him other than his background. I hadn't done any tape. And I'm like, who's this kid from Louisville slinging it around? Very energetic, very confident. The combine, we talked about how energetic he was, outgoing. It forced me to go watch some more tape of him. I watched Notre Dame. I watched Boston College. At this point, Rich, I kind of agree with everything he told you. He's already been through the mill. He's had all the injuries. He's had to deal with all the different offenses, all the different coordinators. It does sound like a young quarterback in the NFL. So, Rich, I would tell you right now on my quarterback list, he's number 4. And he wasn't there a couple of months ago. And he's an impressive young man and a really good football player.
He's sitting there in the last third of the first round, Mike. What do you think? Steelers sitting there at 21, even if they do get Rodgers, who we'll talk about with you in a sec. I mean, a team trading up, maybe having the temerity to dare reach out to Howie Roseman and say, let's make a deal. What do you think with Shough?
Here's what I think about Shough, Jackson Dart, any quarterback in any year that a team is looking at potentially as a first-round pick. What I would tell you, Phyllis, it's funny. Brian Billick and I had this conversation at his dinner table about 15 years ago when we both worked at NFL Network. And we got together just to talk draft, just the two of us. It went on for hours. And we had a big conversation about this point. Philosophically, if you believe a quarterback is your guy, whether the rest of the world thinks he's a 3rd-round pick or whether he's whether or not there's a perception that he can play at that level, if your people in your building go, that's our guy, then why does it matter where you take him? And Brian and I went round and round on it. And here's what I would say about both Ward and Shough. Not Ward, excuse me, Jackson Dart and Shough, is the Giants at 3. You got to be in the quarterback business. Las Vegas at 6. I mean, Mel Kiper had Jackson Dart going number 9 in his most recent mock draft to New Orleans. And I find that intriguing and good for Mel, because this is my point. If organizationally you feel like that's your guy, go get him. Don't wait and hope you get him in the 2nd round. And same thing for Pittsburgh at 21. If you want to get Tyler Shough in the 2nd round, don't sit there and wait for him. Go get him. So bottom line is there's 32 starting quarterback positions and not enough starting quarterbacks. And that's why I give Denver so much credit last year with Bo Nix. They didn't care about the noise. They didn't care. They didn't have a great combine performance. They figured out by the end of the process that was their guy, and they took him. And look what happened.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.